Okay folks, welcome back once more to the Long Dark, video number 16 in our Long Dark series. The series is likely to get slightly truncated by the next update. And as promised in last video, I've done a little bit of research, and oh boy did I miss some stuff. I missed some pretty key stuff. I only had a quick glance through the forums. Obviously I haven't looked at it for a few weeks because I've obviously been elsewhere. But I had a more in-depth look at the Long Dark website, and oh did I miss a biggie. Yes, the release date has been published for the full version of the game with story mode included, and that is the 1st of August. So on the 1st of August the game moves out of early access and into full release. And the first 2 episodes of the 5 episodes season 1 of story mode, which is called Wintermute, will be appearing. And we shall of course be able to get straight in there and play them. Now that does mean that the final sandbox update is going to be at some point between now, which is towards the end of May, and the beginning of August. So probably in a couple of weeks time we are going to hit the point where there's going to be a new update to the Long Dark, and we're going to lose this game save. So what I've decided to do with this game save, we'll carry on, we'll keep going, and we'll see how we do. And then what we're going to do, when that update goes out, I will start another sandbox playthrough, just to have a look at the changes. And I've had a look through the brief change log of what's expected in the final sandbox update. It's called Faithful Cartographer. I couldn't remember what it was called in the last video. It's called Faithful Cartographer. I need to go with an F. And it's going to be quite interesting. As suspected, it does introduce basic cartography into the game. You don't have to use it. It allows you to make your own maps, which I think would be pretty cool. Apparently you have to use charcoal from campfires in order to actually draw, and you may well have to make the paper from something, I don't know, but that's going to be quite interesting. They've also done some changes to the UI and the heads-up displays. They've done some graphical and artistic changes to them, and some functionality changes. We'll learn more about that when it actually comes up. There's also going to be some changes in the way you can harvest carcasses. And there's going to be some changes. You can now pick up and throw stones as a last resort against wildlife, try and get rid of them. And you can hunt rabbits with them as well, apparently. And a few other changes as well. It's only a little bit in the devlog. It's not a full change list, so I dare say there's going to be a lot more in there. The main reason for the update, though, is to sort out the save system. Under the hood, the save system has been backwards compatible the whole way through, so whenever there's been an update, you can carry on playing a game. But this time through, the save system is going to be completely overhauled, so that ultimately you can't use existing game saves, because they need to change things and get it all a bit more stable, ready for the story mode. So we are going to lose this gameplay, unfortunately, but we're going to keep going for the time being. We're not going to just abandon things because we're going to lose it in a few weeks' time. We're going to keep going. So we are here in the gas station. We have done some looting. We're pretty heavily encumbered. We're way over our carry weight at the moment, 15 kilos over. The weather outside is not looking very nice. I've slept for an hour just to save the game, as you would expect. So what I'm now going to do is, I'm actually tempted to poke my nose outside and just have a look and see how bad it is out there. See if we can just make it over the road back to our main base. If it's just really windy and blizzardy, ooh, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, but I reckon we can probably make it, so let's go. Weather conditions are not great. I wouldn't want to travel any great distance in this, but ultimately I'm only crossing the road, so hopefully we can do this.
I will die.
No, you won't, don't worry. Right, here we are. So let's jump inside. So, yeah, just coming back over to our main base. Our main base house. So, I'm carrying a lot of stuff, which I need to put down. I've been putting it on that table. Probably easier to put it on this one, to be perfectly honest. Right, so we do have a bit of extra clothing, a pair of gloves that I just want to check out, see if they're any better than the ones I'm wearing. But let's just go through some of these big things. I've got an awful lot of stuff here. So, flares, I don't think we need to be carrying quite so many. We don't need to be carrying the hacksaw. Don't need to be carrying that, or that, or that, or those, or that, or one of those definitely. Or whichever one of these doesn't have very much fuel in it, we can drop that. And we can drop that one. And we don't need to be carrying the whetstone either. And of course we're carrying 2 bedrolls, we don't need to be carrying that. So there's quite a lot of stuff on the floor now. So let's just move things around a bit. So we can find out, what we're doing. So there's a jerry can. There's some tools. A couple of, oh, it won't let me pick the storm lanterns up, will it? Hacksaw. Rifle cleaning kit. We'll have to pick up the storm lantern and put it down just there. Pick up the other storm lantern and put it down next to it. And then we've got flares, which I will keep with the flares I've already put down over here. In fact, now I have a hatchet, I can actually break down these chairs. Sewing kit. Fishing line. A couple of rifle cartridges. Whetstone. And another flare, which can just go over here. And of course I can now break down these chairs, so I'm going to do that. Because it just makes accessing this a bit easier. Plus it gives me a bit of firewood. Right, so that's all of the tools and equipment. Is there anything else we can ditch?
For a drink right now.
Yeah, well, we'll be alright, don't worry. We're actually doing pretty well on pretty much everything, but we need to get ready to take this back. I'm 7 kilos over though, that's the only slight problem. Okay, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping in a minute. It's really quite tricky to talk through everything when you've got all this racket going on in the background with all this bad weather, so let's just see if we can pass a bit of time and get away out of that. What I'm going to do though, before I do that, I'm going to let's order that by condition. Ooh, okay, we don't want to go near that dog food. I don't think that's going to probably give us food poisoning. I'll have that tomato soup though. Give us a bit of calories on board, and then we'll just drink this water down at the bottom. There we are, we've got plenty of water, so we'll just jump in and we will just pass time. I'm going to pass time for 4 hours. See what that does to us. Weather's still pretty bad outside. Well, it's going dark now.
I've never been so hungry in my life.
You're not that bad, don't worry about it. Okay, we'll just eat another couple of things just to get our calorie store back up. And we'll drink again. And let's get ourselves through the night. Can we sleep now? I think we can. Let's try doing 6 hours, see if it'll let us sleep for 6 hours. Through the night we go. Yeah, so Long Dark is really, it's coming to a culmination of its development now. It's starting to look pretty cool. We've got there is a trailer out there for the for Wintermute, which is the new name for story mode. They have renamed the story mode and sandbox mode. Story mode is called Wintermute, which is going to be 5 episodes. So it's episodic content. 5 episodes, which will make up obviously season 1 of Wintermute, and the sandbox is going to be renamed Survivor Mode.
I could eat a horse.
And obviously that then will be the sandbox game. It's exactly the same as we're playing now. So that's going to be pretty cool. There is a trailer out there for story mode which looks absolutely fantastic, so I will pop a link down in the description for that so you can have a look at it. And I think it's going to be cool. Certainly my plan is it's going to come out on the 1st of August. Obviously we know that now, so I am going to have myself ready. Ooh, let's swap gloves. Let's swap gloves, because they're a bit warmer. I am going to have myself ready. Ready to go to the Long Dark and into the Long Dark as soon as story mode comes out. However, I am planning on doing another sandbox game as soon as we get the next sandbox update, which will carry on. I mean, I'm not planning on stopping that as soon as story mode comes out. So what I'll probably do is keep going with my sandbox game and the story mode game alongside each other. So that is going to be the plan. Now, I did mention, or I did allude to in the last video about possibility of multiplayer. A lot of people have been mentioning that I noticed on the forums. However, the official dev log indicates that there is potential plans in the future. It's being thought about and considered, but they haven't actually done anything about it yet. So there will not be multiplayer initially, certainly when story mode first comes out. There will not be multiplayer, but there may be in the future as a possible option that you can use if you want to or not. That'd be quite interesting to see how that pans out. So yeah, an awful lot of them. We're reaching the culmination of development for the Long Dark. It's going to be really cool, I think, on the 1st of August when we get this new update. The story mode finally arrives. We don't have a firm update for the firm date for the last of the sandbox updates though, so we're kind of waiting on that. But other than that, we're looking pretty cool. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But right now we are in a reasonably okay place. We've got quite a lot of stuff that we're carrying. We are overweight. I don't want to try and do... part of me wants to do this in one go. I still haven't actually raided the whole town though, actually, have I? So let's get rid of a few more things that we don't need to be carrying around with us. I'm going to keep all my food with me. I don't normally do that, but I am going to keep it all with me, because I don't know whereabouts in the village I'm going to wind up getting stranded. So let's get rid of that. We don't need to be carrying quite as many of those. And we don't need to be carrying quite as many of those either. Okay, that should be fine. So let's just pick all that up off the floor and pop it on this table. I'm getting so excited thinking about sandbox, the story mode rather, that I'm not really paying that much attention to what I'm doing here. Okay, so we've got a good amount of equipment forming on the ground there. We don't need to be carrying quite so many matches around either, so let's get rid of some of these matches. And equally, we don't need to be carrying quite so many tinder plugs around either, so let's get rid of probably about that many. Let's drop those. Spot on. They can just stay on the floor, and unfortunately I've buried the matches underneath them so they can stay on the floor as well. Right, so that should have lightened the load a bit. We're still a bit overweight. It's probably because I'm carrying a lot of water, thinking about it. So let's drop a couple of litres of that. We don't need to be carrying quite so much water on raiding missions. Still encumbered. It's going to be all of this. Well, we're carrying this food around with us. This dog food is pretty much had it, so I'm just going to drop that on the floor and forget about it. I'm going to hang on to the rest of that. Do I need to eat? Yes, I do. So let's eat our way out of some of this weight issue. So we'll have that beef jerky. We'll have that soda. And hopefully that just drops us just below carrying weight. Obviously it doesn't give us much carrying capacity, but we'll see how we do. Okay, so we've got quite a good stash going on here. Let's make our way back outside then, and we'll go and have a look and see what we can find elsewhere in the town site. It kind of feels a bit strange. I don't want to stop with this particular playthrough, this particular series, but it almost seems a bit pointless, knowing that in the not too distant future the whole thing's going to be a bit obsolete and we're going to have to scrap it. In many ways it's a little bit of a shame, but I can see why they're having to do it. The save system probably does need an overhaul ready for the big update, and there's a wolf charging at us. I'll have a flare. Flares are the universal way of getting rid of wolves, apparently. Hopefully he won't take a shortcut. Heading over to this house and the house over there is the plan at the moment. Let's get ourselves inside. Safe from the wolf, who will hopefully clear off. Whilst we're in here clearing out. Okay, let's get rid of that. So we have a granola bar. And we have in the fridge absolutely nothing. Anything in the freezer?
Probably useful.
Ooh, that's quite good. Okay, we'll have that. Excellent. Anything in this cabinet? Nope. Anything in this one? Nope. Let's keep going round. Okay, we're not doing terribly well here. Which is to be expected, I suppose. We've got some peaches there in Stalker mode. Things are not as easy as they are in other modes. And the game has obviously been tuned, so there's less food available anyway. Nothing in the microwave. Okay, that's pretty much it then. Anything in the oven? Excellent. That's cool. Okay, we've actually had a pretty good stash from in here then. Anything on this here shelf? Another storm lantern. Well, we'll have it. I'm not going to say no. Cabinet door. Nada. We've got some more clothes. An old-fashioned parka.
I'll take it.
Okay, well I am wearing one, but that one might be in better condition, so we'll take that. Grape soda. Let's just pop my storm lantern on. So we can see in the corners, make sure we're not missing anything. I didn't do that in the last house. Ragged sports socks I'm not going to bother with. We'll leave those there. We've got pretty good clothing at the moment, and we're not going to need to carry it all back over to the other side, because we've got spare clothing in Pleasant Valley anyway, so... Might still do some clothing repairs before I go there, get everything up to top condition. Water, we'll take it. And as we've said before, we're taking this water from the cistern, not from the actual bowl. Anything in the cabinet?
I can use this.
Painkillers, we'll have those. Excellent. Okay, so raided this building, not a massive amount in it, but we've got a few good things. We've got a bit of food as well, so I'm going to go ahead and eat that. And we'll drink a little bit as well. Obviously now I'm carrying raw meat, that's going to make me a bit more attractive to wolves, so I've just got to bear that in mind. Let's head outside. The weather's sounding a little bit nasty, but I want to try and get over to that other house if I can. Let's see what's in there, if we can find it in the blur. Oh, that's not actually too bad. Okay, let's make our way across. Just extinguish this, we don't want to waste fuel. It's a bit windy, but it's clear, we can see what we're doing. There's a lot more burned out houses here than there used to be. I'm sure there's a cellar lurking around here somewhere, you know, in one of these houses. Okay, here we are. We found the door. Okay, so this is a slightly bigger house. Still probably no fireplace inside it, but plenty more things. Trail boots, I think we've already decided. We've got a pair of those already. And they're not very good to us, so we're not going to bother with those. Anything in the cupboard? Nope. Anything under there? Yes, there's a flare. We'll have that. Let's relight my storm lantern so we can see what we're doing. Always confuses me that that door is not openable. Okay, we've got some peaches. Anything in the fridge? No. Anything in the freezer? No. Okay. Now, I suspect when we get story mode, we're going to have to start rethinking our strategy, because obviously we've got other characters in there that might come along and steal our stashes if we set up a base camp somewhere. So we might find ourselves having to be a bit more mobile.
Okay.
And things like that. A few hints about the story is that Will Mackenzie, who is the male character, is trying to look for the female character, so I assume they got separated. So two of the couple of the episodes you play it as Will, and a couple of the episodes you play it as the female character, who I think is called Astrid. And then I think for the last episode, or the last couple of episodes, you can swap between the two and experience different parts of the story. So that's actually kind of cool. I like that. And presumably in sandbox or survivor mode, you can carry on choosing which one you want. And I tend to either choose them at random or alternate. And I'm playing as the female character, who we are christening Astrid, although whether that is actually this character's name, I don't know. Right, okay, so we've pretty much gone through there. Let's see what we've got upstairs. Whoops. So yeah, I don't know whether you're going to have to protect your caches or just be a bit more mobile when you're gathering things. So we may have to change the way we do it. Because obviously at the moment, I do, generally speaking, I don't think we need that. We won't bother taking it. We've already got a decent scarf, so we won't bother with another one. Light shell we've already determined that we don't need, and we've got one stashed away anyway. So yeah, we might find ourselves having to be a bit more selective about what we take, drop things more regularly, rather than gathering everything into one place. We've already got decent underwear, we don't need any more. Which is kind of what I'm doing here. I am being a bit selective. I do normally gather everything together, but as I've been saying for the last couple of videos, right now, because this isn't my main base and I ultimately want to get everything back to Pleasant Valley, I'm not going to bother taking absolutely everything. Things that I don't really need, I'm going to leave behind. So spare clothing, unless it's decent or better than what I've got, I'm not going to bother. Scrap metal I'm not going to bother with. And things like that I'm not going to bother with. So those we don't need. They're not better than what I'm wearing, and I've got plenty of spares. So if I want to do clothing repairs and I want to find cloth and things, there's plenty of that lying around. We could use the towels, the curtains. We do have stashes of clothes already here, and we have plenty back at Pleasant Valley, so we don't need to worry too much about it. Okay, so there we go. We have gone through both of these two houses. There is another house, or another couple of houses, but I don't think we've really got the carrying capacity to go and do those two, because we are 10 kilos overweight now. So what I think we're going to do, we'll head back to the main house and drop everything off, and we might have a look at a little bit of housekeeping before we call it quits. Oh, weather's getting a little bit worse. Okay, I want to make sure we go in the right direction. Oh, okay, hang on. Actually got to extricate myself from the house. There we go. Oops, weather's not looking very nice at all. Okay, well we're going to head over back to our base house, which is obviously over this way. Keep an eye open for wolves, as we know they are lurking around. The bear has not yet been sighted. You do see the bear around the town site, so if you're in the... Oh, I hear barking. I hear a lot of barking. I hear barking. I can't sprint because I'm over encumbered, so that's not an option. Brave Sir Robin is not an option on this occasion. Let's keep going. Okay, we're on the road now. Can we see any wolves? No, they must be behind me. No, he's there! That was a mistake. Oh. Ow. Okay, that hurt quite a lot. Did we drop anything? That's one important factor, because that has been known to happen. We are losing blood, as you can tell. Oh, ouch. I missed the house as well. I've wound up a little bit too far away from it. I can't sprint either. Okay, I'm going to have to deal with my...
To stop that bleeding somehow.
Yep, I'm going to have to deal with it now. So let's get that on. We had two. I've got another one running up behind me, I think. Yes, there is. There's another one. Oh, great. Oh, I've managed to get myself a little bit disorientated here as well. Okay, there we are. There's the house. He's getting a bit close. He is getting a bit close. I think I'm just going to have to press on. Don't look behind me. Just keep going forwards. And hope we get through the door. There we go. Oh dear. That was an error. I thought he was behind me and he was ahead of me. Okay, so we've now got a little bit of health issues that we need to sort out. I need to take some... Okay, so we've sorted out all of our health problems, but I have now used virtually all of my first aid supplies, I think. Did I use all of my... Yeah, I used both of my Old Man's Beard wound dressings. I do have some more lichen, actually, so I can make a couple more, so that's actually not too much of a problem. Right, so let's get rid of some stuff that we don't need to be carrying around again. So we have 2 storm lanterns, so we'll drop the one that has the least amount of fuel in it. We'll keep the 3 of those. Got a fair chunk of food, it's probably because I was carrying that. We're not carrying any excess. Oh, we are carrying a little bit of excess clothing. We've got an old-fashioned parka here, so I don't know whether that's gonna... Oh, it actually looks like it's gonna give us quite a lot better warmth, actually. And it's lighter. Oh no, it's heavier, sorry. It's heavier. Slows us down a bit more. Offers less protection, but only fractionally less, but it's not as waterproof, although I've not had too many problems with that, so I think I'm going to swap, but I'm going to keep the other one. I'm not going to get rid of it. We'll take that back with us. Right, so what else am I carrying then that I can drop? Right now, I'm not really carrying massive amounts. It was mainly food that we got from that last stash. So let us do that. Let's just eat. Get our calorie store all the way up to the top. I've got an awful lot of coffee, although not much of it's in particularly good condition. We'll go ahead and eat this one as well. Get our calorie intake all the way up to the top. There we go. And then we'll drink. And then we're in very good condition, so we can now sleep through the night or through the day and get our condition all the way back up. We're at 54 condition at the moment, but we are okay. We're fine. We're nice and safe in here. It's nice and warm. We've got the bed. We can recover our condition. So that's... No, don't light it! No, that's not what I want to do. Okay, let's just do 5 hours sleep and just see if we can get our condition back up a little bit. We didn't drop anything. I noticed that with some of the wolf attacks we had before that we actually ended up dropping things. So... oh, there we are, 70% now, so that's a lot better. So that was a wolf encounter, but it didn't do too much damage. That is actually something else I remember spotting on the changelog for the next sandbox update, is that there's going to be some changes to the way the struggle system works, where you can actually choose your weapon, I believe is how it's going to work. So we're going to... I'll see how that one pans out. It's going to take a little bit of practice. I'm not a fan of the struggle system, but that's simply because I have problems with my fingers and I can't hit the mouse button very quickly. So I'm at a slight disadvantage always with the struggles, but hopefully we've managed to fend them off. Right, okay, so we're looking pretty good. We've got an awful lot of equipment. I've just realised I'm carrying another storm lantern around, aren't I? Oh no, I've already dropped it. Yes, it's here. Let's pick it up and just pop it on the table next to the others. Excellent. So we're actually looking pretty good shape. We've got an awful lot of equipment here, as you can see, that we've gathered up. We've got water, we've got quite a lot of food, spare clothing that we're not going to really take back with us, spare bedrolls and things. So we've actually got quite a bit to take back, plus we've still got some houses to loot. We've got 2 more houses in the town site to do. I'm sure there's a basement in one of them. And we've still got a couple of houses on the other side of the lake, which I don't think we've been to yet. So we've still got a fair bit to do on Coastal Highway before we start thinking about going back to Pleasant Valley and dropping all this loot back in our main base camp and thinking about what we want to do next. I have a feeling by the time we get to that point, that's probably where we'll end up losing the save. So I might change things slightly. We might end up kind of gathering everything here to have a secondary base, and then maybe trekking over to Desolation Point, or going back via Mystery Lake or somewhere like that, just so that we've got something different to do, rather than trying to build up this massive cache at Pleasant Valley that ultimately we're not going to be able to use if we're going to end up losing the game save. But for now, I shall say thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again very, very soon.